So a lot of people have a very unhealthy and toxic and limiting relationship with money because they have very toxic and limiting thoughts and beliefs about money. Welcome to my channel. My name is Paige Pritchard, and I am a money mindset and management coach who helps women reach their full financial potential, not only through the management of their money, but most importantly through the management of their minds, which is why I am so thrilled that you are here watching this video, because money mindset and limiting money beliefs is truly one of my favorite things to teach on and to coach on. It's something that a lot of people don't even realize is there that's holding them back. But in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 4 top limiting money beliefs that I hear all of the time between my private coaching clients and also my community of students, because I figure if I'm hearing it from them, you also might have some of these limiting money beliefs. Now, I do want to reassure you, make it all the way to the end of this video, because I will be giving you my very best tip at the end to start to change some of these limiting money beliefs. If after watching this, you're like, yeah, this is definitely me, don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I will give you my best tip at the end so that then you can start to work to change these. Now, first, before I jump into the 4, let's just spend a little bit of time talking about what is money mindset and why it matters. So like I said, money mindset is something that people don't even know is a thing, but it's a thing. It's there all right. And every single person on earth who uses money as a tool in their life, which is pretty much all of us, will have a relationship with money. And your relationship with money is comprised of the thoughts and beliefs that you have about money. So a lot of people have a very unhealthy and toxic and limiting relationship with money because they have very toxic and limiting thoughts and beliefs about money, which means that they feel the way that they feel towards money isn't great, which means that the actions that they take around money also aren't great. So a lot of people get stuck and they get really frustrated. They're like, I don't understand. I'm not creating the financial results that I want to create. They've been given the steps, they've been given the blueprint. But then once we start peeling back the onion, they have so many thoughts and beliefs about money that are holding them back, which is what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, let's get into them. All right, number 1, the first limiting money belief, which is the biggest one of all, is that money is moral. So many of us have been conditioned to connect and to correlate our self-worth with our net worth. And a lot of people think that as one goes up, the other will go up as well. So the more money that you have, the more important that you are, the worthier you are, the smarter you must be, the more educated you must be, the more important to society you are, and the opposite is true. The less money that you have, the less worthy you must be, or the stupider or the more undisciplined you must be. We do this for ourselves, but we also do it to other people. We look at other people who have a lot of money and we make judgments and assumptions about them and the type of person that they must be because they have a lot of money. A lot of us have really bad and nasty and negative thoughts about rich people, about people who have a lot of money, right? The term filthy rich, the way that we talk about money and talk about rich people. And a lot of my clients come to me and they say, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have a lot of money, but then they have terrible thoughts about rich people. And I'm like, listen, as long as you keep thinking that people who have a lot of money are bad, greedy, awful, materialistic, terrible people, you will never allow yourself to have a lot of money. What I want to offer you for this one is that money actually isn't moral at all. Money is neutral. Money is not good, it's not bad. Money is a neutral circumstance that simply exists as a tool in our life that we can then use to live into our highest purpose and to create a life that reflects our unique goals and personality and priorities. That's all it is. The more that you make money moral, and the more that you continue to attach money to your morality, the more that you will continue to chase money for the wrong reasons. You will always be aspiring to make more money, to make yourself feel more worthy or more important or happier or more successful. And I am here to tell you that money cannot make you feel anything. When you know and can accept that money is simply just a neutral tool in your life, you know that it says nothing about you or the type of person that you are, then you can approach money from the sense of, I'm going to go out there and put as much value out into the world as I can, but I'm not going to make it mean anything about me or my worthiness or my importance in the world. The second limiting money belief that I hear all of the time is that money and the amount of it that you can make is attached to time, effort, and energy. A lot of us grew up thinking and being taught this concept of hard work. Work really, really hard, work long hours, give everything you got, like work yourself to the bone. And when you do that, then you will become worthy of making a lot of money. But the shift that I want to offer you with this one is that money does not come from your time or from your effort or energy. Money comes from the value that you put out into the world. I have a lot of clients who come to me and they say, well, I work an hourly job. I'm a lawyer. I get paid a billable hour, or my employer pays me hourly. I still want to offer in that scenario that you are not being paid for your time. Your employer is not paying you just to show up and twiddle your thumbs for an hour. Your employer is paying you for the value that you will provide to them within that hour of time. People are not interested in your time. They are interested in the value that you can create for them in that hour of time. If it was really true that money ultimately came from time and from effort, then every single human being on earth would be capped at a certain point, because all of us have 24 hours in a day, and all of us have a cap to how much effort and energy we are able to give. Instead, what we have is we have a lot of people in the world making various levels of income. You have people that make a lot of money, you have people that don't make a lot of money. I always like to use the example of a corporation. If you look at a corporation, the CEO is the person in the corporation that makes the most money. You also have people at the bottom of the food chain that are probably working just as hard as the CEO. They are giving just as much of their time, effort, and energy. But why does the CEO make so much more than someone at the bottom of the food chain? It is because the corporation looks at the value that they are getting from both of those people and the work that they do, the overall impact to the bottom line of the company, and they assess that the CEO and the role that that CEO plays and the value that that CEO provides is much greater than the value that is received from someone else. And they are compensated accordingly. So this shift is so important to make, because as long as you continue to think that money ultimately comes from how long you work and how hard you work, you will work your ever-living tushy off in order to make more money. This is what most people do. When most people need to make more money, the first thing that pops into their head is, I'll just pick up more hours. I'll just work more time. I'll just work harder. Instead, I want to get you into the mindset of asking a different question. I want you to start asking the question of, instead of, how can I give more of my time, effort, or energy? The question needs to become, how can I become more valuable? How can I give more value? How can I put more value out into the world? Because you're always going to be capped and limited by time, effort, and energy. You will never be capped or limited by how valuable you can become. The third limiting belief that I hear all of the time is, I'm not blank enough. I hear this in many variations. I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. I'm not from the right background. I'm not the right gender. I don't have the correct skills, the correct knowledge set. I just want you to go ahead and just drop all of it. Drop all of the expectations and all of the badges and all the personality traits that you think that you have to have in order to manage money well and in order to build wealth. I want you to know that building wealth and managing money, it's not that difficult. A lot of the skills that you think that you need to have in order to build wealth and be really good at money, you don't. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not a math person. I'm not a numbers person. I'm like, did you graduate from the 3rd grade? Can you add? Can you subtract? Can you do 3rd grade math? Because if you can manage money. I want you to stop placing all of these limiting self-concepts on yourself about the type of person that you think that you need to be in order to make a lot of money, in order to manage it well, in order to build wealth. These are all just limiting constructs and limiting badges that you have chosen to adopt about yourself that are not serving you, and all they're doing is holding you back. If we can believe anything we want about money and also believe anything that we want about our ability to manage money, then why not just believe that you have what it takes and you are the type of person that you need to be to build wealth and to make a lot of money? The 4th limiting money belief that I want to leave you with is probably one of the most detrimental, and it is the belief that I am behind. I'm financially behind. I hear this one all the time, and I just want you to know that there is no cookie cutter path that all of us are going to follow on our wealth building journeys. We all have different starting points, and we are all going to have different ending points depending on the type of life that you're trying to build. So to look at someone else's financial situation and compare it to yours, and to use that to make the assumption of I'm behind, you are truly comparing apples to oranges. Here's what I also want to show you about this belief, is that this belief will actually create the opposite intended effect of what you want it to. A lot of us like to go to this place of, oh my gosh, I'm behind, thinking that that is going to motivate us to get caught up in a sense. But all that thought does is it just causes us to become more behind. When you think the thought, I'm behind, that thought makes you feel, for most of us, me included, that thought makes me feel really panicked and really frantic. And when you're in a panicked place, that leads to a lot of avoidance and a lot of inaction. It leads to a lot of you doing absolutely nothing at all. So when you think the thought, I'm behind, it actually just causes you to, in reality, become more behind. So what I want to offer you as a replacement thought to this, instead of thinking I'm behind, I like to believe I am exactly where I'm supposed to be on my unique path. Remember that we are all going to have different starting and ending points. Your path is your path. Your journey is your journey. The only thing you need to be focused on is, are you progressively advancing and moving ahead, not where am I compared to everyone else. All right, those are the 4 limiting money beliefs I have for you. And here is my best tip for you to wrap this one up of what you can start to do to change these beliefs. So after watching this video, if you're like, yeah, I definitely have some of these. I am really bad about attaching money to my morality. I'm stuck in this time and effort economy of thinking that I have to give a bunch of my time and effort to make more money. I have a belief about myself that I'm just bad with money, or I'm not smart enough to be able to do this and do this well. Where we have to start is you have to start introducing evidence to your brain that these things can be true. So think about it this way. Your brain wants to be right about things. So if you have a belief that money is hard, your brain is constantly going to be searching for and seeking out evidence to support that belief, to prove it true. But if we want to start believing instead that money is actually really easy, we have to start intentionally looking for evidence that that's true. I call this the yellow car example. If I were to ask you, hey, how many yellow cars are out there? You'd probably tell me there's not that many. But when you actually start to go out and drive, if you actually start to look for yellow cars, you'll start to see more of them out there than you actually thought existed. Before, you simply just weren't looking for them. But when you start going out and looking for yellow cars, you're going to realize that there's actually a lot more out there than you thought that there were. The same thing is true for our thoughts and beliefs. If we want to introduce a new thought and a new concept for our brain to start considering, we have to start to look for evidence intentionally and purposefully to introduce to our brain that the opposite is true. So, if you want to believe that money is easy, you have to start going out there and looking for evidence that money is really, really easy. Start giving your brain new things to consider, new breadcrumbs to pick up, new pieces of evidence that you can introduce to it to say, I know that we've lived our whole life thinking that money is really hard and it's really difficult, but what if I've been totally wrong about that? What if money can actually be fun and easy and exciting? And what if I'm actually really good at managing money? Just start opening up your brain to the possibility of it all and start looking for evidence that what you're trying to believe is actually true. Lastly, before we wrap up, there are 2 podcast episodes that I want to point and direct you to if this is an area where you feel like you want to dive deeper and do more work. The first podcast episode I want to point you to is number 10 of my podcast. It's called The 5 Money Lies We're Taught. I talk about some of the things that we covered in this video, but I also offer 2 additional money shifts that you can make that we didn't cover here. And the second podcast episode I want to point you to is 23, which is titled, Are You Financially Behind? If the 4th limiting money belief really resonated with you, if you're like, oh yes, I find myself all the time thinking I'm behind, make sure to listen to episode 23 because we spend an entire episode just delving into that one point. I give you a lot of other tools and tricks to overcome that limiting money belief. All right, my loves. Thank you for watching this video. I so appreciate it. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and if you feel so inclined, let me know in the comments which limiting money belief was the most impactful for you. I would love to hear. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video.